What's up, good people? Today I want to talk to you about this fine lady right here, Invisible Woman, who I think is low-key the most slept on defensive card in Marvel Snap. And I know what you're thinking, there's a lot of slept on cards, but hear me out. Invisible Woman basically functions like armor and Cosmo all packaged into one with this huge upside of hiding information from your opponents. And I know that most people are aware that she hides information from your opponents, and she's commonly run in decks like Hella Discard and things like that. But I don't think people realize that in many situations she's just better armor because she still dodges Shang-Chi, she still dodges Enchantress for all the cards that are underneath her. So she basically functions as this incredible defensive card, again, with this great upside that you can hide things underneath there that your opponent are not expecting, especially big stats. That's not really a combo that we currently see in the meta right now. People will either hide like sensitive ongoing cards or things that need to reveal at the end of the game, like the Hela combo again. But I don't see her run with Ebony Maw, and I don't really see her run with Atuma, which, if you're not aware, Atuma does not die when it reveals at the end of the game because his effect triggers at the end of the turn. And so Invisible Woman, because the cards are not revealed until the end of the game, if you're not aware, the way that the game trigger order works is that end of turn effects happen first, and then it goes into this final state called the end of the game, where effects like Invisible Woman and Captain Marvel trigger, which are really cool because they allow you to dodge certain negative location effects that trigger at the end of the turn. For example, a great one with Captain Marvel is like Rickety Bridge, which destroys, at the end of the turn, destroys all of the cards in a location if there's more than one. However, because Captain Marvel triggers at the end of the game, she can safely fly into Rickety Bridge at the end of the game after everything has been destroyed, and since she's the only card there, she'll live and win you that lane. So I want to showcase Invisible Woman in this John Cena deck that took me to Infinite this season. I call it John Cena because you can't see it, and also there's a ton of huge stats, so a lot of big boys in this deck. It's essentially a Zero-Shuri Red Skull shell, but I think the added addition of this Invisible Woman package with Ebony Maw, Atuma, and Invisible Woman is a huge booster to this deck, and I do love the Shuri Captain Marvel combo here. And there's also this cool combo where Invisible Woman gets to essentially function as a second armor, where if you haven't drawn your armor and you have a bunch of cards down on the field and you need to play Destroyer, thankfully when you play Destroyer, only Invisible Woman sadly dies, but the rest of the cards underneath are safe. Now that being said, do be aware that Atuma will die because Invisible Woman dies during the end of turn, which means all the cards get revealed immediately and Atuma will die in that situation. So just be careful for that. Okay, I've got a couple games lined up, hopefully to showcase how cool Invisible Woman can be and why we should all look to play her a little bit more. Alright, Asteroid M is a little bit annoying because it means most of our cards actually end up in that lane. A lot of our big stuff gets pulled over. Negative zone looks like a zone we will avoid. Armor is going to be good here. It's going to basically allow us to play Cosmo Atuma no problem. We can even back it up with Iron Man and then Destroyer somewhere else at the last turn. This looks very much like a Darkhawk deck. We get the mana bonus and they do not. Our hand is looking pretty good right now. One thing to note is that Darkhawk and Mystique will end up in this lane unless he fills it up. But we have Iron Man, so that makes it pretty good for us. Now we could consider taking a turn to hide this. I actually like this a lot. It does limit our total power in this lane, but he might not be expecting me to be able to match his Darkhawk and such. So we'll go ahead and Attuma here. There's the Darkhawk. We'll go ahead and Iron Man. And then because this lane is full, we can actually Destroyer, no problem, or something else. Just trying to think if there's another play I want to make here. I could Destroyer this turn. I don't really think that's great, though. I think we'll just stick with the plan. Here's the thing. He probably thinks this is 1. So I can actually zero Destroyer right here. And this flips all the lanes. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. To be honest, I probably should have snapped earlier. This looks like a pretty clean win. I don't think he's has a way to win this, but he might not know that. Here's the thing. I could snap now because the information looks really heavily in his favor, and he might stick it out. So I'm going to risk it for the biscuit. 1 cube versus 2 cubes is not that big, but if I can get him to go in for 4 cubes, we could pull some extra wins here, just because we're behind. Normally you don't really snap on turn 6 because they might leave. Yeah, this is a free win. And I think we even take all lanes, yeah. And so he stuck it out. Yeah, so that's one scenario where it's actually okay to snap on turn 6. And I'd like to point out that Invisible Woman played a huge role in me being able to farm an extra 2 cubes there, because he didn't know how much power I had hidden here. He felt really safe on the left, even though we already had that lane locked down. And then, honestly, we could have just played Destroyer in either lane. We didn't need the 0. He would have won both of these lanes by himself. So that's a really nice showcase of the power of Invisible Woman as both a defensive card and, hiding information. So nice. Sanctum Sanctorum. Sanctum Sanctorum is nice because we do have the Captain Marvel. Okay, looks like some kind of ongoing kiln. Okay, this is a perfect example of us being able to play Invisible Woman, Attuma, and Ebony Maw, and having just a huge ball of stats in the mid lane here. I could even play 0 if I wanted to. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to Iron Man a Destroyer. And it doesn't really look like 0 is going to be useful right now, so I'm just going to toss him in there. But this is probably overkill. I don't think there's any way he can match this mid lane power. He gets to play Crossbones. Kiln gets closed off. We have the Captain Marvel. I think this is just the safest strategy. This is a free snap. This game is like easy win for us. And the best part is he might not know that we're winning that hard mid. and so he might stick it out. So here's the thing. He doesn't know. Oh, hello, kitty. My cat's here. Hi. You want to say hi? Okay, so he doesn't know that we're winning mid and absolutely destroying mid. Even if he plays Doctor Doom, we win with Captain Marvel left, so he should definitely retreat here. But he doesn't realize that he's already lost, and there we go. Perfect game to showcase how good Invisible Woman is. Just the ability to hide information from your opponent, make them overconfident. That's 4 cubes. Sandbar. Well, the only thing we can do to get into Sandbar is Captain Marvel, so get a Nova. That's could be a couple of different decks. Plunder Castle. Okay, so the plan is stack this lane with Iron Man and then Destroyer. We're just going to play a Destroyer deck this game. If we can draw into Atuma, that would be absolutely fantastic. I could play Cosmo, but here's the thing. If I play Cosmo, I don't have the option of Shuri if Adelan shuffles our cards and we get Shuri. So the plan is, in fact, to play a card on 4, a card on 5, and a card on 6. So I'm only playing 3 cards. So I can play Invisible Woman because we have space. So ideally, it's like Shuri, Captain Marvel plus something. Atuma is great also. And in case you're wondering, you can't play 0 plus a card into this because it doesn't count as having no abilities until it comes out. Okay, so we Enchantress. That's pretty nasty for us because Atuma dies here. Ended up stacking both of our cards here. So that's kind of sad. We'll just play Red Skull. A bit of a bummer there. The only upside that I can really think of is the fact that this guy's having a really hard time playing into these 2 lanes also. He probably has Shang-Chi, which is why he's snapping. He's obviously Sarah Control. Which means that this Red Skull is definitely dead, which means I have to retreat. Because I don't have anything else to contest power-wise. Because, yeah, I just don't have enough power. So that's retreat. It's good to know your win conditions. Good to know when you don't have it. It's all right. We can dip out of that one. That is a situation where you're not supposed to snap on turn 6. I could have been potentially convinced to stick that out for 2 cubes, but now for 4. So we got Atlantis. I'm just trying to think whether or not we can actually take advantage of that. I'm definitely not playing Zero yet because I probably want to play Armor turn 2. Machine World. Yeah, sure, go ahead. You can have an Armor. I'd actually prefer you play that. Kind of helps me out. Bucky Barnes. Oh, yeah. He does not want Armor. That is a dead card for him. And all of his destroy cards are 1, 2, or 3. So that is super, super good for me. I don't think he wants 0 either. That's fantastic. I think this is snappable. He's just at such a big disadvantage. I know it's not a huge advantage for me, but like his game plan's already ruined, and if I'm able to play out my game plan, which looks pretty clean right here, I have good odds to win this. I mean, this is not a guaranteed win, but my philosophy for snapping is mostly like, if you have a good advantage, usually it's okay to snap, and worst case scenario, you dip out and you lose 2 cubes if something miraculous happens to save them, but most of the time it's fine. I really like Shuri Captain Marvel here. We could even Shuri Red Skull, depending on what it's looking like. I'm expecting Carnage over here. You'd have to have another 2-drop. Let's play something for Shuri. Okay, okay. Let's play the Captain Marvel. I just really like her ability to fix stuff at the end of the game. I think it's a very powerful combo. That's a big Hobgoblin. Let's see here. This could be Galactus. But if he Galactus is mid, it's over. That's not a thing. He's losing left. I honestly don't see how he wins this. See, if he plays Carnage, it goes to 4. He does have a demon in hand. I mean, Captain Marvel just dips out of this lane 100% of the time. I think this is pretty free. He has to play a bunch. That's a demon. So we win mid. Carnage. And then Captain Marvel just flies left. So yeah. It should be enough. Yeah. Nicely done. Shuri Red Skull. Still a good deck. Turns out. All right. We have Invisible Woman, Ebony Maw. I love this combo. Being able to play Ebony Maw for free is fantastic. Daily Bugle. All right, let's see what you're playing. Bishop. This is our last... No, this is not our last turn to play Ebony Maw. Actually, we just played the Bishop, which he's probably also going to just play the Bishop. Next turn we can play Ebony Maw. Or do we want to play Ebony Maw now because we want to play Atuma later? And then Bishop actually doesn't trigger on the cards that are played until afterwards anyway, so this might be okay. We could play Zero Atuma in case this gets silenced, because I'm pretty sure Sarah Control does run Enchantress. So to be safe, I'm going to do this. This is some kind of Dark Hawk Zabu Sarah Control thing. Alright, this also allows us to play Destroyer later. Beast. Ooh, Bounce, Sarah, Zabu, something? Wild. You know, I just don't have enough time to play Bishop. I want to play Captain Marvel. Stark Tower and Captain Marvel is crazy. There's the Sarah. I think we go Iron Man. Again, Stark Tower. These combos is kind of insane. I know he has done a bunch of stuff, but I'm not really that scared of what he has. Our mid lane is actually stacked. We've got 22 power in the mid lane right now. Captain Marvel, Iron Man both benefit hugely from Stark Tower. I'm feeling pretty good about this. Let's see what we can draw here. This last turn, Armor, Red Skull. I think we just do this, and then Captain Marvel can fly left, but I'm pretty sure there's no way he can beat me on the right, and mid he has no idea how much power he has to beat, which makes it really difficult for him to calculate, because to be honest, this is just a surprising amount of power. Like, you look at this and you think, okay, he played on turn 3 and 4, so you're expecting a maximum of, like, I don't know, 12 power, because you're thinking like average is 5 and average is, 8 or something like that. Here's the Mysterio. Okay, so he's not playing. Notably, this also dodges Shang-Chi. Like, he can't Shang-Chi this Atuma because it's gone. Yeah, this is just a perfect example of how great Invisible Woman is as a defensive card. And again, hiding information, so good. Dude had no idea I had 22 power underneath there. If this was just sitting there and he knew that this lane was guaranteed lost and he was staring at my right lane with Iron Man, there's no way you would stay in. MVP, man. MVP. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed those games. Hopefully those were a good showcase of how powerful Invisible Woman could be as both just a way to hide information from your opponent and convince them to stay when they really shouldn't, and also as a defensive card to protect your cards from key cards like Shang-Chi or Enchantress or even Valkyrie, who's getting more and more popular these days. So give her a try. She's better than you think. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.